All right, so are we doing this in sync? What are we doing?
Yeah, let's do it.
We're doing Backstreet Boys? Are we doing 90 Degrees?
Backstreet Boys, alright.
Is it Backstreet's Back or Backstreet Boys?
I don't know. Hey, what up? My name is Jeremiah.
And I'm Luke.
And we are the
HM02 Guys. Just two dudes being guys. What does the mouse sound like?
Huh?
Meow?
Meow.
Oh, wow. That was pretty...
What? Don't give that to me. Don't enable me. Don't enable me for that. I know that didn't sound good.
It was a good...
Yeah. Okay, do you know what I'm talking about? When you're trying to do a voice in your head?
Yeah.
You're trying to like physically...
SpongeBob.
Yeah, actually, yeah.
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah. All right, so, again, just being two dudes being guys, yeah?
Dudes being guys.
What we're here for, what we're going to be talking about today, is Pokemon.
Pokemon.
I love for Pokemon, but we are essentially going to be kind of like the vibe checkers. We are checking the vibes of a Pokemon that we're highlighting for today, and, you know, we're just trying to ask the question, is this Pokemon right for you, depending on your needs and wants? Now, a question that we always think about, we talk about often, what if Pokemon were real, in the real world at this very moment?
Yeah, it's like such an interesting thing to think about, right? Like, as if animals, like pets and stuff, like people's vibes fit different pets. Yeah. Like, they're like dog people, they're cat people. Yeah. So we kind of want to explore that in the Pokemon realm too.
Yes, exactly. Because like even if you're like a dog person or whatever, not every dog, you know, you would want and would also like, you know,
like vibe with you.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then even cats, like cats are like completely, because you're a cat person and I'm a dog person.
Yes.
And our vibes are similar, but we're very different.
Yes. Too. Yeah. How we approach things is very different.
Right.
So we're going to be exploring that with each Pokemon that we highlight. And yeah, kind of just, you know, check the vibes. Like, for example, right? For example,
where are we going?
If we're in the real world, right? Like in the games, right? You could like catch every single Pokemon that you want and that you see. But in the real world, you probably have like a small apartment. So you probably don't want, you probably can't afford a big Snorlax. I mean, you can.
You could.
You could.
You could leave it in the ball. I'd just be very unhappy with you.
Exactly. That's what we're here to check out. Does this Pokemon fit your vibe? And our Pokemon that we're highlighting today, what is it? What are we doing? Arceus?
God? Does God fit your vibe? Whoa! No, it's
this is a Christian Pokemon podcast.
Whoa, crazy! The worlds intersect, they collide. No, today we're talking about Bagon, Shelgon, Salamence, and anything related to that. So Mega Salamence, Roaring Moon, even for those that played Gen 9.
Yeah, the ancestor.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about those today and get like doing a little vibe check, give them a little sniff, figure out. I don't know.
Just where you at? So again, like I said, we're just here to check the vibes of Pokemon. Like, you know, hey, you like going to get coffee? This Pokemon will probably be good for you for that. So with that being said, we're gonna dive into. You say Bagon?
What do you say?
I say Bagon.
Bagon?
But that sounds, you know what, now that I say it out loud, I think in my head, because I always see it, because
like you take your bag and you put it on and you leave like, the podcast. I'm just because we're done.
See, I already had a punchline for him. I was like, okay, all right, well, I'm not.
What was your punchline? Like, go ahead.
No. See, now it's weird. Now it's weird.
No, it's forced.
Okay. Well, I'm trying to get this money. I'm trying to get my bag on. You know what I'm saying? That's what I was.
Yours was better than mine.
It fits different vibes, and that's exactly why we're here.
Look at the.
Oh, you like that segue?
Wow. Okay.
Good at this. Bagel. So Bagon.
Bagels?
So Bagon. Yeah. Bagon. I do like. I do like Bagon.
Bagon?
So Bagon
now
just sounds
insecure. I don't know.
That's what I say.
Do you say Shelgon?
What?
I'm just trying to see if we're still friends.
Shielgon?
What? She'll be gone?
She'll be gone.
Okay. So
Bagon.
Bagon. The vibe. Hard-headed.
So, yes.
Helmet head.
The species is rock-head Pokemon.
We're going.
So, Bagon is the rock-head Pokemon. Somewhere here, probably here. And it's a dragon type. How do we feel about dragon types?
I think they're like the rowdy 5-year-old boy type. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Like, it's the type that's designed for the boys that want to run around the playground and like beat up their friends.
This could just be me. I feel like there's a bias against dragon types for some reason.
On my part or in general?
Why?
In my part or in general?
I'm talking about your part. I don't see anyone else here.
Well, okay, it could have been a generalized question.
Okay, well,
asking about the world. And we're giving vibes, right?
For sure.
We're just talking about...
Okay.
Okay, how do you feel about the dragon type?
I feel that, for me, dragon types, they're essentially like, whatever, like they're cool and all that stuff, right? Like that's kind of like their whole thing. They're rare, they're really cool. But to me, they kind of exemplify late bloomers.
Oh.
Yeah.
I guess you want to think about it in a positive way and not in a little kid that's beating up his friends on the playground way.
No, but I'm saying that's where like late bloomer could be. You know what I mean? Like maybe because think about it. For most dragon types, right?
They evolve late.
They evolve really late. And if it's cool to have some, right? But in the early games, in the early to mid games, they're not that great.
They're not.
So you could say that in the beginning, right? Like they are probably like low brats and they don't really do too well, right? But somewhere along the lines, they're just like, I need to get my life together.
And it takes a specific kind of person to have that patience, right? Like, like if you look at gym trainers, if you look at trainers in general that have dragon types, they all kind of have this like ancestry, it almost feels like, of being a specific kind of person that has been trained or brought up to have that patience to get through the baby stage and the middle stage and then eventually have this like long life partner powerhouse.
Because they require a lot of work.
They do.
They require a lot of work. And that includes like having the patience to do so, but also just the drive to do so. You know what I'm saying? Which I think is a great segue into the story of Bagon, actually. Yeah. Would you like to read?
I mean,
a Pokedex entry.
Well, for those of us that do know or don't know, Bagon's a Gen 3 Pokemon, so it originally came out in Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald.
In Hoenn, yes.
And in Hoenn. So we're going to read its Ruby Pokedex entry. I was going to do the voice. Bagon has a dream. Oh my. Bagon has a dream of one day soaring in the sky. In doomed efforts to fly, this Pokemon hurls itself, but it also hurts itself. As a result of its dives, its head has grown tough and as hard as tempered steel.
So, like, do you see what I mean when, like, dragon types, like, are kind of just like, they require a lot of work and stuff? This dude, or, just whomever Bagon wants to be, has one thing that it kind of like wants to do. Yeah,
it's like so driven and focused on one thing.
It's hard-headed.
It's literally hard-headed. Yeah. But it also, like, if you are not in sync with that, if you are not on the same path as that, you're gonna butt heads. Like, not to be punny, but like literally, if you can't harness that dream for Bagon, then you're probably not a good fit for this.
Probably. So if you tend to be like a very, I don't want to say one-track minded because that's reductive, but if you have a particular goal, right, and
that doesn't align with with what Bagon wants.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Then Bagon might not really be for you. Or if you feel like your disposition is kind of more on like the chill side, kind of like not as
if you're not as goal oriented, or if you don't want to work, because it says like literally, in doomed efforts to fly, meaning it tries again and again to fly. Like, I think there's an episode where, like, the Bagon literally is, like, running up this hill, up to the cliff, and then crashes down, and then repeats
going
to try and make it work.
Yeah.
And if that... Like, if you just put that in, like, dog terms, right? Like, if you had a dog that wanted to, like, learn a trick, but you don't like teaching tricks, you're probably just going to be a mismatch. Like, your dog really wants to experience this kind of fun, but you're not giving it that life because that's not who you are.
This can also be for the person that, like, upon seeing that, like, kind of needs that sort of inspiration, you know what I'm saying? Like, who appreciates being surrounded by people who can, like, motivate them. You know what I'm saying? That's like what
it's like
I
a driving force.
Yeah, exactly. It's just like, okay, like, I have things I want to accomplish too, but it's like the one phrase, like, if you wanna go fast, do it alone. If you want to go far, do it together.
Do it together.
Yeah. And so if you have a particular goal, and it also just happens to align with, like, you know, Bagon's goals, like, obviously, like, I don't know, your goal doesn't have to necessarily be like, oh, I want to fly too.
Yeah.
But I think the idea of just, like, chasing something, pursuing something, and being almost, like, relentless about it. Almost to the point of, to the point of hurting yourself
and hardening your skin.
Don't hurt yourself. Actually, don't. That's that's not healthy. Anyways,
I think another like way that I'm thinking about this too, or someone that could be successful with a Bagon is someone that really cares about helping others achieve their dreams. And no matter the cost, you're a caring kind of person. You're somebody that, like, wants to help them achieve what they want.
Yeah.
I feel like that's all the energy that you need or should come from when you're training a Bagon, because, like, it's literally putting itself through strenuous training and hurting itself, and it needs someone to care for it but motivate it at the same time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, like, I feel like that also would be a good personality type.
Yeah, like a sort of like a mentor model or something, like a role model and stuff, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I feel like you definitely, though, you need to have kind of a strong personality for it, or at least, like, I don't know. I'm not saying, like, strong personality.
I mean, strong can mean anything.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. But it needs to be a personality where, like, you...
Strong-willed, strong determination.
There you go. Yeah. Have a strong will, have a strong determination, because, you know, considering that
it's stubborn, it's going to keep
very
doing the
stubborn
same thing. Yeah.
So, you know,
patience.
Yeah, you need to be very
part
patient.
of it. Now let's talk about when it evolves.
Yes,
right?
for sure. Yes. So it evolves at around level 30. This is about what, like mid-game-ish?
That's early to... Well, I guess mid, because your starter evolves at, like, 36-ish, right?
Ooh, okay. Yeah, so it is a little bit early, I guess.
Which does go to show you, though, like, if you were to have, like, in the Horn region, like, Mudkip and Bagon starting at the same time, your Mudkip's going to be fully evolved already, and your Bagon is only halfway through its evolution chain at the same level. So that therein lies the patience again that we're talking about. But anyway, Shelgon, as you see here, that hard hat, or that hard exterior now, has become a full shell that encompasses this dragon.
Yes. Shelgon is known as the endurance Pokemon.
I didn't know that.
And its two abilities is Rockhead and Overcoat.
I think it's cool to note, to go back to Bagon, its main ability was Sheer Force. Yeah. Which is actually pretty cool to think about. But with Shelgon, right? What are your, when you look at Shelgon, what vibes do you get? Like, think more in the, like, kid on the playground beating up his friends.
I think. Tell me your thoughts on. Tell me your thoughts
but only
on, like,
specific
Shelgon.
Set of thoughts.
But only specifically in this scenario where I have imposed.
Hey, whoa! It's general vibes, right?
It's general vibes, but specifically
general, but not general.
Okay. If we're gonna go with that, I think for Shelgon, the vibes that I get, just considering just, like, the aesthetic, kind of just where it's at in terms of, like, its evolutionary line.
Yeah.
It kind of became, you know, because it was the kid before that kind of, like, bullied everyone and stuff. And due to that happening, obviously everyone kind of just, like, get away from me, like, don't touch me, don't talk to me, like you were being mean and stuff. And so now they're kind of isolated, just like so by their own goals, I guess. Not
or
like
ooh, that's good.
Yeah. Oh, it reminds me of a person that's just like kind of is just one track minded about their particular goal to the point where they do hurt them. Like, I mean, Bagon literally hurts like themselves, right? Like, and so kind of just like, oh, I can't hang out, like I'm working, I can't do this, I'm working, blah, blah, blah. Like just so focused on...
A recluse in that sense.
Yes.
Like they're so focused on their goals.
Yeah.
I see that. The way that I was thinking, like going down the same track of like the child who bullied everyone on the playground, right? Like not to get like too sad or too like serious, but like usually when kids are bullies, it's because stuff's going on at home. So then like Shelgon has now developed this hard exterior because of all the things it's enduring at home, all the things it's enduring in its training, because it's preparing itself to like be this big star. So I think it's along the same lines, but I was kind of thinking about the recluse part and like thinking like the protected part and thinking like all middle stage Pokemon to me are kind of the like weird,
like awkward child, like
middle,
like adolescence,
like middle school, early high school days, like still trying to figure out your own like vibe.
And I think Shelgon really exemplifies this, like just through the design of Shelgon itself. The face is obscured. Like the whole, face is obscured. Like you can't see them. The only thing you see are its eyes, and even then,
you don't see the full eye.
Yeah. Even in the design that it, in the artwork and stuff, the eyes are very aggressive.
You know what I'm noticing too? If you look at Bagon, right? Bagon is like blue and yellow, and you look at Shelgon, all the color is gone. Yeah, it's just gray. There's some yellow, there's some red, but it's mostly gray.
And if you notice the color that it is there, it's like inwards towards the body as opposed to
like expressing,
facing outwards,
showing itself. Yeah, definitely. So then how would that associate with like the trainer now? Like let's take that same trainer that we're talking about, like someone that's caring, someone that's strong-willed, someone that's patient. Now it's a Shelgon. How do we think they interact?
I think to me it's kind of just like, it would probably be in like a rebellious phase, kind of.
More rebellious than it running around and like crashing on a cliff every time?
Okay, but at least it's in Bagon's entries, right? It dreams of flying. Here, it's kind of almost, I don't want to say cynical, I don't think that's the word that I'm going for, but it is a little bit, it's literally like battle-hardened.
Yeah, I mean, if you read the Sapphire entry, right? Covering Shelgon's body are outgrowths much like bones, which is super hard. The shell is very hard and bounces off enemy attacks. When awaiting evolution, this Pokemon hides away in a cavern.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
So the recluse feeling of like while it's waiting for its dream to achieve, so you're right on the money. Like I'm so focused on this thing, and I'm so tired of people telling me that I can't fly, that I'm gonna go hide in this cave. I'm gonna evolve. I'm gonna wait in this cave, and I'm gonna show you all that like I'm gonna fly one day.
But there's a danger to that.
Yeah.
And that's the danger that the trainer would probably come across, and that like, in any sort of like situation where like, it's good to have like a singular goal and stuff, and it's good to like, oh, cool, because I guess in this case, in Shelgon's case, just like, oh, I'm being doubted. Like I'm gonna put all my energy either to spite or just like for myself, right? To become better, right? But in doing so, you're literally closing yourself off from the world.
Yeah, I mean, like there's a bunch of sayings, right? Like you said something earlier about like if you do it alone, then
like if you want to go quick, you do it alone. If you want to go far,
you do it together.
It with others,
And then there's other things like it takes a village to raise a child and stuff like that. Right? Like Bagon is literally a kid. And in this rebellious phase, it's probably not gonna want to have its trainer be there because again, it's so one track minded. So then how would if like say I'm the trainer, right? And I'm sitting on this couch with you, and I'm like, man, my Shelgon won't listen to me. Like I'm trying all these things. Like, what would you tell me to like encourage me?
Well, it's always like easier said than done, right? But like patience is definitely the biggest, first and foremost. But I think the second one too is to just like really just be present. Like, be with them, because it's like, you, obviously they're gonna be like, well, like, you know, I don't need you, or just like, I don't need you for like this and stuff. But when the most important thing is to never let them feel like they're alone. They may isolate themselves, they may be in a state of solitude, but to never make them feel like they're truly alone. Like that they're totally closed off from the world. Because it's important that, like, hey, you know, you're a part of this world. You know what I'm saying?
As a former teenager.
As a teenager.
As somebody that was like, somebody that did like to recluse, someone that did like to cut himself off from the world, right? Like, I definitely like to give the exterior that, like, oh, I don't want anybody to care about me. Like, I'm just tough. I'm just going to wait till I, like, grow up and all these things. But really, internally, where the color is for Shelgon, the red, the passion, right? Like, I was hoping somebody cared. Like, I wish that people did. I mean, people did care. I realized it now as an adult. But, like, I'm assuming, or I'm imagining Shelgon is probably feeling the same things too. Like, I have these dreams, I want to fly, no one really cares about me, I've been training, I'm so upset about it, but like, I really just want someone to care. Like, past the exterior, like, want someone
past the shell.
Yeah, past the shell.
Because, you know, it's very, the vulnerability is like within the shell.
Right. I don't know if this is true or not, but I think it would be interesting if the canon had it be where, like, there are a bunch of Bagons, there are even lesser Shelgons, and, like, very few Salamences, because I envision that Salamences can only achieve their dreams with their trainers. Like, they literally come out of their shell. You know what I mean? Like, they have to overcome that to evolve. Because now, if you look at Salamence, the last, wherever he's going to be, look, he's flying over.
Oh, it's crazy. Oh, wow. He's never going to come down.
Yeah, because he's been trying to.
Yeah, I know, but like,
fly all his life.
I mean,
let him fly.
You could sleep.
But if you look at his design, right? Like, it's the same elements. It's actually a really cool through line. Now it's on all fours, just like Shelgon, but it's the same blue. It's the same red from Bagon and Shelgon. Then if you look, the hard shell that was on the head and on the body is now on the chest. To kind of protect itself from things like. There's no archery in Pokemon, but I envision, like, in like a Dungeons and Dragons or whatever, if there's a dragon flying and people are like trying to shoot arrows at it, it has that protective underbelly now because it's taken its hardships and what it's learned and applying it to protect itself in the future while it's achieving its dreams.
And if you're taking a look at the design, which that was a very great.
Yeah, I just that was on the
that was great. No. We're done. Okay.
And this is our last episode.
Welcome to our first and last episode. They're out of the shell. Obviously, that's such an easy thing to say. You know, just like, oh, metaphorically, it's out of shell, and literally, but everything else is vulnerable, right? Like, because it's out of a shell.
Yeah.
But here's the thing, it's strong enough now. It feels like it's strong enough now. Because look, the face isn't obscured anymore. It's out there, like, you know, especially when it's, you know, it has like a very long extended neck. So the face is very vulnerable from the rest of the body, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And this, I just think it's so funny. Like, in terms of, you know, like Pokemon designs and stuff, generally the Pokemon designs tend to go like, okay, this is like the creature or whatever, and then there's like some either whimsical or fantastical thing that's like makes it, oh cool, this is a Pokemon.
Right.
This just looks like a dragon.
I mean, its Pokédex, its species is literally the dragon Pokemon.
Yeah, but it's so funny to me because it's just like, it's the Bagon's dreams of like flying, right? So it's like, yeah, exactly. But it's
or she.
It's
50-50%,
yes,
so.
Yeah, it's pretty good. So it's thinking of it's manifestation. It's essentially manifestation because it's like, oh, like I'm a dragon type, like I want to fly. Literally becoming like what a stereotypical dragon looks like. It has like the wings, it has the tail, it has, well, I don't know. Okay, when you get into classifications of dragons, they're like different type, like
like wyverns and yeah.
But I don't know that, so we'll just go dragon.
Yeah.
But it, has wings, has four legs, has a tail. Like, this is what you would see in like regular like fantasy novels or like fantasy media. Like, this is checks all the boxes of a dragon.
Of what a dragon's, and that's what I meant earlier by saying like the dragon types are for the little boys who want dragons to be real again. Were they real before?
Again?
I mean, depending on which books you read, dragons are real in some, whether fiction or nonfiction. I don't know. But it's the dragon type is specifically built for people who like dinosaurs or people who like mythology or people who like those things. And a lot, from what I've noticed at least on playgrounds growing up, or like even just in different circles, or people who like dragon types are usually that same kind of person too. Maybe not so much the kid pushing other kids in the playground.
I hope not.
But if you are that, maybe do that less.
Yeah, maybe grow up.
Yeah, maybe
get better.
Grow up.
Yeah.
Be better.
Maybe
the 4-year-old. Actually, I like dragons and I don't do that.
I don't push kids.
Tommy, it's time for dinner. No, I'm typing about. Anyways,
Salamence.
How do you feel in general about
Salamence?
Yeah.
I think, for me, I'm proud. For me, I'm proud because like it's one goal. Like, it is able to not only like manifest it the whole time, right? But it put in the work that it needed to. Like, because what do you mean? I just want to fly, and then it just sprouted wings.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
It literally says in the Ruby
Yes.
Pokédex entry, if you want to read it.
Salamence came about as a result of strong, long-held dream of growing wings. It is said that this powerful desire triggered a sudden mutation in this Pokemon cells, causing it to sprout its magnificent wings. If that's not manifestation, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know what else is.
I really don't like the secret. I really don't like I'm gonna one day.
Oh, just thinking about it.
Yeah, because you have to put in hard work too.
Yeah.
Just like
You can't
Bagon,
just think
right?
about it.
Like,
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying.
Bagon was training all of its life.
It talks the talk and walks the walk.
Like, for us to be like, hey Jeremiah, I really want to do a podcast, but I'm just gonna sit here and I don't actually want to do the podcast, but I really
we're going meta on this, okay.
I really want to dream for this podcast, right? Like, we're not just gonna spontaneously mutate into podcasters. Like,
we
you have
need
to
put in the steps. We have to put in the steps. We gotta like meet up.
I think there's like both, right?
Yeah.
Like, there's the dream and the aspiration of it,
Yes.
but like the thing about like modern day manifestation as just manifestation won't really get you anywhere without the hard work. And I think Bagon is a good way.
Is a great representation of it.
Represent that.
So if you are a trainer that like wants to strive towards that thing, you know what I mean? And just like being a person just like, oh cool, like I too have a long-held dream, a long-held desire, right? I think just like having a Bagon is such a good guideline to do so.
Yeah.
You know, but also it's good to kind of see from an outside perspective like what being so solely driven on one thing can look like, and like the pros and cons of it.
Yeah.
In this case, like Salamence got here, yes.
Yeah,
for
but
sure.
at what cost?
But at what cost?
Yeah.
And so it's your responsibility as a trainer to make sure that you guide them along this journey
along the way. Because when I was like really thinking about this before recording, right? Like, there's only a few instances in the anime where Salamence is like present.
Yeah.
And it's with like a malicious kind of trainer.
Yeah.
Which tells you something, right?
Yeah.
Like there is that level of like, I'm gonna help you achieve that dream.
Yeah.
But at what cost? Like you are helping it achieve what it's manifesting and achieve what it's dreaming of. Yeah. But like harping on probably the negative parts of that instead of like investing in some of the good parts of it too.
Yeah.
Like being up in the air and flying, you get different vantage points. Like there's all these different things that you can talk about flying, right? Yeah. Like, but if you're only up there now to destroy.
If you're only up there to look down.
Right. Then
if you're only up there to look down on others.
Then that says a lot about who you are and a lot about Salamence. And like I personally really love Salamence.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
In Gen 9 is the first time that I used it. I think because in its original game, like in Ruby Sapphire, you had to go to like Meteor Falls and you needed Waterfall. And it was like all these things and like it was like a 5, 10, 15% chance to find it in that little room, right?
Yeah.
So I didn't get a chance to use it in its original debut. But in Scarlet and Violet, I actually really wanted to use it for Roaring Moon. In my headcanon, it evolved from Bagon to Shelgon to Salamence, then its final form is Roaring Moon. But because I view myself as somebody that likes to help people achieve their dreams and invest in all the good in them too, by the time it got to Salamence, I didn't want it to evolve into Roaring Moon. So I actually caught Roaring Moon and I left it in the PC, and like my Delacruz, my Salamence, like stayed Salamence because of that feeling, right? Like that journey from like I envisioned like helping it run up the cliff and like training with it and like catching it if it was too tired. To like bringing it berries or potions in the cave when it's hiding, and eventually like there's a photo, but maybe I'll put it right here of like in my playthrough when it evolved and then it fell asleep at my feet. Which is crazy to think about, because if you're evolving to fly, you're gonna want to fly.
That's probably the first thing you want to do, right?
But then Salamence is at my feet sleeping. Like that was really special to me.
Because it's just like, okay, cool. Like, and I feel like that's a good representation of what happens when you do kind of like achieve your dreams, which also like, you know, achieved his dream, now it's dreaming. Anyways. But I think that, like, because, like, when you're there, right, you don't even, like, nothing necessarily, like, changes, like, at that very instant. There's no, for me, like, there's no, like...
There's no fast track.
There's pre-dream, there's, like, after dream.
Oh, yeah.
The transition is just, like...
I see what you're saying.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So... And I just think that's such a beautiful thing, too. Just, like, to instantly just... All right, I did it. Like, I'm tired too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I think there's that episode of Naruto where he like in Shippuden he like defeats his inner demon or something, or like the dark version of him. And like nights previous in other episodes of the anime, he was like super restless.
Yeah.
And after he defeated the demon inside him, or the dark version of him, he like, I think the last cutscene is Sakura or someone saying like, "Oh look, he's finally sleeping peacefully." Like
that's so beautiful.
Yeah. Well, how do you feel about Salamence? Like, what is your emotional connection to Salamence, or Bagon, or Shelgon? Or
I had a thought. I don't want to necessarily go all the way. Oh, well, I guess I will go
That's
back.
me putting a pin in that.
Sorry if you could save that one. I was thinking, because talk about the whole like guiding them as a trainer and stuff.
Yeah.
Because you were talking about like, oh, like this was Bagon was the kid that like bullied and whatever.
Oh, the through line.
And it could very easily become a person that's not so great. Yeah, sure, they achieve their dreams, but it kind of feels to me like, because Salamence is usually like portrayed in this like malicious way and stuff, it reminds me kind of reminds me of those people who, really didn't grow up in the best of situations, like either home situations, whether like financially or just like, in a familial sense.
Yeah.
But I guess I'm just thinking of like financially. But like they had one goal and then they make it big and they're here. But now they also want to pull the ladder from under them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
They don't want to help anybody get up.
Yeah. And it's just like, oh, well, if I could do it, you could do it without help. Yeah. Because I did it without help.
It's the whole thing that what you said, right? Like if you're only trying to get up there to look down.
Yeah. And I think that's an important thing to look out for, especially with someone as stubborn and strong-headed, right?
Yeah.
And it's just so singularly driven. Pokemon such as Bagon, Shelgon, Salamence. And so it's up to you as a trainer to make sure that, they're on the right path. Because that's...
It reminds me of, in my internship program, we had this saying, lift while you climb.
That's good.
Yeah, it's this idea that like as you climb, and it's an internship program, so it's like as you climb the corporate ladder, but I think it applies in life too.
Yeah,
like while you're grinding your levels in life, like instead of being so hyper focused and driven on just yourself growing and achieving, like don't forget that there's people watching you.
Yeah.
And like looking up to you, and there are ways that you can help them unlock some of the things they're trying to unlock that you probably struggled with. And you, if you were struggling with that and you wish someone would help you, like now is your chance to help unlock that for someone else. You know what I mean? And I think if you guide a Bagon to a Salamence in that way, it doesn't become this scary, destructive dragon like all media presents, but a dragon that sleeps at your feet. Like that to me is more scary. Like something that is so powerful and so huge and so massive, but chooses to not use it. That's terrifying.
And I think like with its ability, right? Its main ability, intimidate, and then a hidden ability. But we'll talk about intimidate at this very moment. Like the intimidation initially it could just be from like I'm
its
big
presence,
scary.
Yeah.
But then with what you said, I'm a big scary dragon. I'm a big scary dragon. I can fly for miles and miles, for hours and hours,
forever and ever,
forever and ever, forever.
Okay, damn.
But it could have those two different types of of an intimidating presence.
Yeah.
And then I guess as like for Moxie, if you happen to get a Salamence or a Bagon with its hidden ability, what's Moxie again?
So Moxie is when it defeats the Pokemon in front of it, it gains an attack boost.
What's the vibe check on that one?
That kind of feels like...
That feels very...
That feels like the grown-up kid on the playground.
Yeah, that
not because he's pushed enough kids on the playground, he gets a boost from that, which again just gives different kind of vibes, right? Different stereotypes.
Yeah.
With that said, there is positive Moxie. Like you box, right?
Yeah.
Like that's I feel like boxing, I mean, other than it sounds similar, I feel like boxers have Moxie. Like what motivates them is getting hit, is landing hits, right? And they get stronger because of that. Like there is a positive connotation there too, if it's harnessed the proper way.
Yes. Yeah.
Because there's a restraint that comes with that too.
Yeah, I agree.
Hopefully.
I agree.
Because otherwise you're just going to be clobbering on your opponent and they're going to be on the floor and you're going to be like, I won, but at what cost?
When it comes to like boxing and stuff, there's always things like, well, you're not actually, this is going to sound like jargon or whatever, right? But generally, for the more, I guess, like spiritualistic type of boxer, just like a more, what's the word? Reflective boxer, right? It's like you're not going up against your opponent. You're going up against yourself, right? And so, like when it comes to like Moxie and stuff, like sure, like when you hit someone, it's like sure you're hitting someone, but it also like you could think of it as like what I've been practicing towards, you know, whether it's like the footwork, the different types of punches and all that stuff, getting in position so I could, you know, be where I want to be, that's a result of me putting in that work. It just so happens where I'm like punching happens to just be my opponent. But again, it's like just trying to be better than who you were yesterday. So that could also be like the positive side of Moxie as well.
Right. So if you were to catch your Shelgon or your Bagon, whatever, right? Like, and you notice that it had that sheer force as the hidden ability, as opposed to what's it, Rockhead?
Yes.
So Rockhead probably like I'm trying to envision it now, right? Like, as in the Pokemon in the games, you could see what like ability it has, and you could give it its hidden ability.
Yes.
But in real life, if they were real, you would probably be able to tell the difference based on their actions and based on the characteristics. So if you were to catch like a Bagon with sheer force, I would probably say you'd probably have to take better care.
Yeah, for sure.
It because it has that sheer force. It then gets overcoat as a hidden ability, which tells me there's more of a defense, more of the recluse, and then there's Moxie as Salamence, which tells me that if you didn't put in the time to really train with it and build that bond with it, then it's just gonna attack everything. Yeah.
It could snowball.
It could get really bad really quick.
So you really have to, as a trainer, just like you got to be very vigilant.
Yeah.
Almost all the time. So it's difficult, right? I mean, like, this is a dragon Pokemon. These are very rare, and because they're not so. I'm assuming because they're rare, they're not so well domesticated like other Pokemon.
Yeah. I was thinking, like, because of that too, therein lies the importance for a partnership and a bond between the Pokemon and building that trust.
Yes.
Right? Like, you can't expect it to act like a house-trained cat or dog.
Yeah.
Like, you have to be okay with the fact that it is more just literally wild. Like, that's just its nature, and you have to kind of meet it there and meet it halfway. Of course, teach it the proper habits and stuff of like existing in the world, but like, you have to understand that like there's
going to be some tendencies to jump off a cliff.
Yeah, because then like there's monitoring, and then there's like hovering. There's like guiding, and then there's controlling, right? So like, I feel like it could also go negative in that sense too. Like, you were trying to control the Salamence, maybe it'll turn on you instead of like, you're not helping me achieve my dreams, so like, why would I listen to you, kind of thing. But talking about this bond, we could move into Mega Evolution, or we could take the pin out and talk about how you feel about Salamence emotionally, and then talk about the Mega Evolution.
For sure. Yeah. So going back to the pin.
Cool.
The pin, right?
Oh, it's sharp. Be careful.
Oh, I'm bleeding.
Nurse, medic, destroy.
How I feel about Salamence emotionally, I kind of feel like it's, for me, I, like I said earlier, I feel proud because like it's come so far. You know, for me, it's kind of like, that kid who like kind of bullied everyone, but it could also be like, for me, it's the kid that like from day one, from kindergarten, like only wanted to do one thing. And like throughout, like, like, oh, cool, elementary school, like middle school, like you kind of always known them like, oh, they're still doing that thing. And then like, I don't know, you meet upon them later, they look completely different, right? And you're just like, what have you been up to? Still the same thing. But you've noticed that their features have like softened a little bit, and you could tell that they have gone through something, but
gone through is the word.
Yes,
like they're not going through it.
Exactly,
they've accomplished what they needed to.
When you interact with certain people, and you could kind of tell, like, oh wow, like you've like been through stuff in your life. Yeah, but because they're at like, not the tail end of it, but like
the phase where it's over.
It's like post journey, right?
Yeah.
So for them, it's like, oh, there's like this wisdom, there's this like patience, there's this maturity that comes about from it, if handled properly. By the way,
or handled at all.
Yes.
Because I'm thinking about like if you were to talk to somebody right at different intersections of their life, and let's say you meet them and they're so hardened. Yeah. And we've literally been talking about Shogun being hardened. Yeah. Right? Like, they could be level 50 in their life and still hardened. Just refused to But it refused to evolve. It refused to grow. And I think that's like a really beautiful way to look at like going through your own hardships. Like as soon as you shed the coat and you go through your own genetic mutations in yourself, like you go through and change your mindset about what you're going through, who says that you can't fly?
Wow, that was so pretty. Yeah, that was very good. Oh my god. I
kind of did that on the fly.
What if we just dropping gems out here? Oh my god.
Gems in the other room.
Yep.
So stupid. Okay, so bonds, right?
Okay, so bonds.
So another Pokemon that we're going to talk about, obviously, is Mega Salamence.
Yep, and we're moving on to Mega Salamence. Would you like to describe Mega Salamence? I forgot that we should have probably described the other Pokemon.
I mean, they're photos. They're looking. I know. They're looking at the photos right now.
For the audio only.
Oh, you're so valid. You're so valid, King.
Let's do just like a very quick. Let's just do a very quick, and then we'll very quick description. Excuse me.
Sure.
And then we'll go to.
You take Bagon. I'll take Shogun.
Cool.
You take Salamence.
Bagon, big head. Cool. Moving on.
That's crazy.
Big up, big head.
Not him giving me crap for not describing Pokemon and saying 2 words to describe the main guy that we're talking about.
So Bagon, to me, it's like a little tiny T-Rex, right? Barely it's like little nubs for arms, has these underbite tusks, and the most prominent feature of Bagon is the 3-pronged. I don't know.
Talking about the headpiece.
The headpiece, and again, this is. I'm assuming it's bone.
I think it's just bone. Hardened scales. No, that's what the
either hardened. Was it? Its head has grown. It doesn't say what it was.
No.
Yes.
Like it's
whatever
giving,
body part
it's giving powdered wig.
Oh yeah.
Looking at it now, because even the tail.
Mozart.
Bach. George Washington. My president. What?
The first Supreme Court justice.
So it's kind of giving powdered wig.
Yeah.
And then his nose. It's kind of like a Yoshi's face.
Actually, yeah, it's like a very round nose.
Yeah, with the round underbite too.
Yeah.
Except Yoshi has a tail, Bagon does not. And then he's just the head to body ratio is 1-to-1.
Yeah. It's definitely you could definitely tell it's like a first stage.
Yeah, for sure.
But the colors, so it's kind of like a gray on the top, and the headpiece is gray as fine on George Washington. And then the rest of the body is teal with kind of like yellow highlights.
Teal?
Is
you
it
don't
teal?
See like a steel blue?
Yeah, you're right.
Because teal
that's a better descriptor.
Teal is
like more greenish.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, you're definitely right.
I think Salamence is more teal than Bagon. Bagon is more steel blue. Look at the vibrancy.
Yeah.
Anyway, so Shelgon.
Yeah. Moving to Shelgon.
Yeah. Shelgon is, as I mentioned to you earlier, it's on all fours now. Bagon is bipedal the right word? I always get bipedal and like.
Yes.
What's the four-legged?
Bisexual.
Ooh, bisexual visibility. Quadruped. I
thought you were. I always get
sexual. Oh no! Isn't that just a furry? Anyways, oh no!
This is a Pokemon podcast.
Okay, so Shelgon's on all fours now, and it's in this shell. So that powdered wig has now really enveloped its entire body. Like it's giving Drake and Josh its spherical. Like it is a ball. It is in the game sphere from Drake and Josh.
Spherical.
It's spherical. And like Jeremiah was describing earlier, like you can only see its eyes. It's literally enclosed itself in that shell that was once a powdered wig.
It's a big wig.
That's a big wig. Wow.
Should we move to Salamence?
Yeah, we can talk about Salamence now.
Cool. So for Salamence, the teal that I was referring to earlier, more of a teal than the Bagon. Yeah, I think the steel blue was a better descriptor. And now the color, right? The most striking is the red, and we saw that initially in the Shelgon, and it was more of like the inner limbs,
which kind of gets carried through in Salamence too. Like it's still in the inner limbs, which you can tell it grew itself out.
Yes, but now the red is also. It's on the like above the eyes, and it's on the neck, and again, most prominently, it's the wings. The wings are red.
Yeah, and as I mentioned earlier too, like now that shell, the top part of the wig has now shed off, and only the bottom now remains as that armor. And he's pretty cool. He's got 4 teeth.
Yes, he's got 4 teeth, and his head
big chompers.
Its head, yes, big chompers. But there's 6 horns, spikes.
Yeah.
But you could tell that the purpose of those is to be more
aerodynamic,
to cut through. And especially with the wings.
Yeah, definitely. Which I guess we can talk about Mega Salamence now.
And we're gonna move on to Mega Salamence. I guess we should start off with the dex entry.
Let's probably pull it from
where? Oh, here it is. Right here. Sun, moon, ultra sun.
All right, so the stress of its 2 proud wings becoming misshapen and stuck together because of strong energy makes it go on a rampage. So canonically, Mega Pokemon are going through a lot of pain.
Yeah, and it's definitely not natural.
No.
It's definitely not natural.
And I think it's important to note here that only Pokemon with a bond with a trainer outside of like Delta Stream, Rayquaza, that's a whole different thing. But a Pokemon that has developed such a strong trust and bond with its partner can endure this physical hardship because it knows what it's doing with its partner will benefit the greater good. Like otherwise it wouldn't just be going through this pain for nothing. I mean, you could, but like I think it gives it more of
you
that.
You still need that bond in order for
it even to happen.
Yeah, for Mega Evolution. Yeah. So it would be impossible otherwise.
Yeah.
But it's still like, okay, you're my trainer, I trust you, and it's kind of like I trust you, like my Pokemon, that you're okay with it. It's like that we're good with this. Yeah.
Yeah. Like that bond is unspoken. Like they didn't sit down on a couch and say like, hey, is it okay for Mega Ball today? Or you cool with that? You cool with the pain? Actually I have nothing planned for the next hour, so I think it'll be okay.
Yeah, we're good. My recovery time.
No, it's like unspoken. Like so I think again it's harping on that bond with the trainer.
For me, what makes what's the interesting part of this Pokemon Pokedex entry is the two proud wings becoming misshapen and stuck together.
Yeah, which is a great way to jump into how it's designed. And you're probably hearing the shift. You're hearing the shift in tone because like I don't.
Croissant.
Carl?
It looks like
Carl
it looks like a croissant.
It's a crescent moon shape.
Yes. Which is great.
And its front legs are now stubby, which I guess is a call back to Bagon.
Yeah.
I didn't even connect the two.
That's a very good, that's a very good observation.
And it's now...
The shell has now...
It's now covering its arm, like its small front arms, I guess as like a defensive mechanism if it flies too fast and crashes into something.
Now just all of the focus, like everything is, again, just like, Bagon at the very beginning, there's only one goal here. And that is to fly really hard and fly really fast because its ability is aerolate.
Yeah.
So which means any sort of like
any normal move becomes flying.
Yes, and it gets a power increase.
Yeah.
So generally, I mean, Mega Evolution isn't permanent, right? It
lasts.
It's a transitional sort of like stage. This is not sustainable.
No.
This is not a sustainable form.
And it's kind of like life too, like like people who train. Like you could go through series or seasons of bulking and cutting, but you're not going to be cutting forever. You're not going to be bulking forever. Like all of those moments of transformation, like a Mega Evolution. Isn't sustainable.
It's like your best shape, right? You could really only sustain it for like
like people who do like bodybuilding competitions.
Yeah, exactly.
When they're on the stage, it's been like 3 days since they've eaten. Like they
drank water,
like but they look great.
Yeah.
For like moments.
Exactly.
And then they eat and they blow instantly. Like that's just how it is, and that's kind of what this is like.
It's the same thing with fighters too. Like because they have to make weight, right?
Yeah.
So they like cut like crazy.
That's crazy.
But afterwards, they just like balloon like 5-10 pounds.
Which then could be like a disadvantage for the actual fight, right? Like because they only have to make weight for the weigh-in, and then for the actual fight, there could be like a 5-pound disparity between.
Yeah, I mean, but generally you kind of want to be on the heavier side to like for more, But like either way, it's an unsustainable thing. Like, but if as a trainer your purpose is to battle, then hopefully you've taking the correct steps to guiding your Bagon on its journey to becoming a Salamence, and a Salamence of like good stature, of good patience and like control and maturity. Yeah. Then, I will say, Mega Salamence as a competitor, as a battler, is probably one of the best Pokemon you could have at your side.
It was the top Mega, right?
It was, because Aerolate was such a great ability on it, and just like I also think that's kind of cool too that like Aerolate, its dream
of flying literally
has become manifested even more so. Literally taken to another level. But in its first debut, it's one of the most prominent Mega evolutions. So again, if that's your goal, Yeah. I mean, its stats are crazy off the charts.
Yeah, 700 total.
Yeah.
Which, like, what is it? Legendaries are like anywhere from 580 to 700, whatever. So it's like legendary level.
Yeah. And it's, I mean, the typing itself, like, of course, like, whatever, ice and stuff, right? But its stats, its bulk is pretty good.
Yeah.
And considering that you have to bring in Salamence in first before you Mega Evolve.
It, yeah.
So you could use Intimidate to kind of like cut down on
the attack first, yeah.
But even then,
or if you had Moxie, you could have like swept like the first 3.
Exactly.
And then Mega Evolve, you have that +3 in attack, and now your Aerialate, like whatever Air Slash is doing.
Or like, I don't know, does it get Quick Attack or something? I don't know. Does it have priority?
It does it know Extreme Speed?
That'd be way too broken. Oh my god. Either way, right? It has a good enough speed. Oh, 120. It's really good. It's really good.
It's super fast. It hits hard on both the attack and special attack side. It's crazy.
Its bulk is nothing. Like 130 defense is a lot.
Nothing to
with Intimidate.
With Intimidate.
Yeah.
And I think what's important again to note here is like the dex entry literally says it's going through pain while in this form.
Yeah. 100%. Yeah.
So again, like even I think in competitive, you can only have 1 Mega on your team, right? So like that tells me even more that if you are someone with a Bagon or a Salamence, right, and you want to Mega Evolve it, I would highly recommend it only to Mega Evolve if it is your one true partner.
100%.
Because you're putting it through all of this strenuous activity for what? For you to get like more attack and more speed, which is great. Like if you're competitive, but like you and your Salamence need to be like so hardened by battle and like that bond has to be so strong for it to be even considered.
You're trusting the Salamence, right? You're trusting your Salamence to help you in your endeavors, whether if battling is what you're looking for, right? Your Salamence is trusting you that you're gonna keep it safe no matter what.
And I think that has to start when it's a Bagon, right? Like you're helping it achieve its dreams, and now it feels like, well, my trainer did that for me, so I'm gonna endure the hardship and do it for them.
Yeah, and you know, a relationship is a give and take. It's like 50-50 in the sense that like, oh, like the efforts, the cares, the affection, in whatever way that you could show it. You know what I'm saying? Like there has to be a give and take. So you can't just, as a trainer, even if you are competitive, you can't take this lightly. Because Mega Evolution is such a, sure, it's strong, but again.
But at what cost? Yeah.
And that's the biggest thing.
That's the biggest thing. I think this is a really great point to pivot into Roaring Moon. So I kind of was foreshadowing or aforementioning Roaring Moon, which its debut generation was in Generation 9. It is one of the Paradox Pokemon, which if you're unfamiliar in the game, it's time travel-y. There's like past and future. No spoilers, but here's kind of a spoiler because it's like the Paradox Pokemon of Scarlet version or of the past versions. And it looks very, very similar to Mega Salamence. It has that same croissant wing shape, but it has actual wings. Are like feathers on the external part. And if you notice, its typing is now Dragon Dark, not Dragon Flying. So it actually doesn't. It glides, right, in the game, but it doesn't.
Glide?
I don't think it flies. Because I think when you encounter it, well, you had Violet, but when you encounter it, it like crawls on the ground and it only like like it has really strong arms to leap, but then it only glides. Like it barely flies anymore.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And you know, there's actually not, the Pokedex entries don't really have any information on it. So.
I mean, that's kind of how the Paradox Pokemon are, but yeah, it looks a lot like Mega Salamence with that same croissant. Its front arms are now like, it looks like he's been hitting arm day. Like
for sure.
He's been at the gym.
It's not nubs.
No,
there's no nubs.
No nubs here.
But if you look here, like it's very
amphibian.
Aggressive.
Aggressive.
It's very aggressive. Yeah, because it does look. It looks like there's little fins. I'm not sure if it's like amphibian-ish because it's not webbed necessarily. But I feel like because its claws, it gives way to like, the fact that it crawls the way that it does.
Probably,
and climbs.
which is actually kind of scary. Think about it.
And considering that this is like a past Paradox Pokemon, this was probably around the inception of like maybe when Pokemon were trying to fly. You know what I'm saying? So I think it calls attention to like, oh, why would it need to climb? So it could climb to the top of mountains, of course, to take advantage of this case. Because you said it glides, right? So it's not quite there yet in terms of it's flying.
Yeah.
It's dreams of flight, but that's probably where
Bagon gets
the shared DNA.
Yeah.
Just something inherent about like.
Yeah, I mean, canonically,
fly.
like literally, it says that it bears a striking resemblance. There's no defining factor that says that they are ancestors of each other. However,
could be a shared ancestor.
Could be a shared ancestor.
Just shared DNA in general.
Yeah. I mean, if we want to get into like what the paradox Pokemon, like there's this whole theory that they were just dreams that people had.
The
bring
desires,
us right back to
the manifestation of dreams.
Right. I was kind of mentioning earlier, Roaring Moon to me, I thought like canonically in my head was like it achieved its final form in Roaring Moon when I evolved my Salamence, but because like when it evolved and it slept at my feet, I was like, I can't leave my baby.
Could you evolve?
No.
Oh, okay.
No. It was just in my head canonically because I knew that you would catch it later in the game.
Okay.
So I figured like, I'll just train up my Bagon and then bring it all to a Salamence, and then when I encounter Roaring Moon, it evolved or achieved its final form. So in my head canon, that's what it was. But then again, showing this incredible screenshot, right here of my De La Cruz like sleeping at my feet.
Yeah.
I was like, I can't leave my baby.
Yeah.
I don't want that. I want a croissant. I want a croissant, I can go buy one. Like I want my baby.
French people everywhere just like
you heard it here first. I don't want croissants.
just grimaced.
That's okay. Well, there you go. Sorry, Carlos. I love you. Hope to see you in Plaza.
Yeah, I mean, I guess like for me emotionally, there's not too much information for me to go off of, but considering that it's like, I don't know, I guess like it's Dragon and Dark, it has a lot of, I mean, I don't know,
it has the same typing as one of your favorite Pokemon, which is Hydreigon. So how do you compare the two?
For me, they're completely different in terms of like, I guess like their function and just like how they move about and stuff. Like this one is a physical attacker. Meanwhile, Hydreigon is more of a special attacker. And this one's just, I don't know, like the vibes.
It's okay, be honest. He's not in the room with us.
I really like the design. I think the design's really cool and stuff, but it's just, I don't know. It's like a weird, like in between of like Salamence and regular Salamence and stuff. Like it looks cool, right? And it is more reptilian-esque instead of more of like the cleaner design of like Salamence and stuff, but it doesn't really mesh well. In my opinion.
Yeah, it's giving hodgepodge. It has a lot of things going for it, but it's that thing that what's her name? The fashion magazine person. She was like, when you get dressed and you leave the house, before you leave, you take one thing off. Because often you might have over accessorized. Salamence has Roaring Moon has a lot.
Put everything
like
on.
All of the wings, the tail part is different of the croissant. Like he painted the yellow marks on his belly too. Ooh. He put on the hat. I'm like, girl.
This is the person who put on like all just babe clothing, but because it's like high end, like babe hoodie, Gucci belt, like
Louis Vuitton bag,
true religion jeans and stuff.
Yeah, with the like
no cohesion.
Forces,
No cohesion.
Yeah.
But like because it's all like high end stuff, it's like, oh, this looks good.
Yeah, it's definitely over designed for sure.
Yeah.
Which is what I mean. I think it is cool, but it doesn't have the same sleek design as what you were talking about earlier as Salamence, and
it doesn't really have like the same cool dragon design as like Salamence does, just because like it's such a that design is so cool. Like everything was built towards like flight and like just becoming a stereotypical looking dragon, but it still has like the Pokemon aesthetic. Here it's like the only thing that reminds me of it being a Pokemon is maybe the colors. Maybe the colors and the resemblance to Salamence. Otherwise, this looks more like a Digimon to me, which doesn't mean it's a bad design. I don't think Digimon have a bad design, but you know, trying to be consistent with the visual language being given to us by Pokemon.
But if you take all the Paradox Pokemon, it fits in that realm.
For sure,
right? But I mean, it's literally 6 generations different. Like you have Salamence here, and then you have Roaring Moon here. They look very different. Like the disparity is.
And to be
huge.
fair, they are Paradox. Like they're not meant for modern
human eyes to see.
So I guess I don't know if you're a trainer and you just happen to come across one.
Yeah, you're in Paldea and you caught one.
Yeah.
Like write down in the comments why. No hate. I'm just my baby Sal. I've made it clear that I love Salamence with my whole heart, and I couldn't leave it in the box.
Our whole job is like, we need to find out like what is good for you, what isn't. But hey, if you have this,
like, what do you?
Hey, what the fuck is up, bro? What's wrong with you?
I didn't say all that in those words. The sentiment probably was there.
The same energy, all right? The same energy.
Okay. Yeah, I just Roaring Moon is a Pokemon. It's an idea. It's
there.
It's really tough because if you take Salamence and you wanted to reinvent the design, right? Then you get Mega Salamence, right? And even then, people are like, whoa,
it's
like Red Moon, like not even a Blood Moon, like that's crazy. You know what I mean? And then you take that and you're like, okay, how do we make it even more fantastical? We'll give it wings. Let's like make the bottom part more like a cape, like a bat. Like let's make it more like
have like actual feathers on the wings.
And then you're just like at this point, like
it's too much. It's too much. It's a bit too much, and it's like. It in itself is a paradox.
So the vibes are too much.
The vibes it's too much.
It's giving too
It's too much. It's trying too hard.
Yeah.
It's trying too hard with no
you don't need the Bape, you don't need the Louis Vuitton, you don't need the Forces. Like, just pick one.
Like, being tasteful. I'm not saying you have to be, like, minimal, like, just one color. No. You have to be tasteful. You have to know yourself. I mean,
you don't have to be anything.
Yeah.
But you don't have to be, yeah.
It would, in my opinion, it is better to be tasteful. It's to know who you are, to know what you're about, so that way, you know what best fits your body, what best fits your shape, and all that stuff.
Because using the Bape, Louis Vuitton, Air Forces metaphor, right? Like this is giving like. I want to impress every single rich person in a room that I walk into, and every single rich person has different tastes. So I'm just gonna be safe and put it all on.
Yeah.
But then you leave looking like Roaring Moon.
Yeah.
And now you have two dudes being guys sitting on the couch talking about it.
It's like if you're trying to put on every single style, then you have no style.
Oof. Dang. That wasn't a gem. That was a jab. Ouch. Ouch. That's, crazy.
All right. Well, let's go to our conclusion.
Yeah.
Let's go to our conclusion. We also forgot our little mini segment. But anyways,
okay.
Okay. So, what kind of trainer would you need to be in order for a Bagon all the way to Salamence? What kind of trainer would you have to be in order to have more success in raising?
Yeah, I think we were kind of like signing it as we went, right? But like to bring it back to the forefront, I think you need to have patience.
Definitely. That's the biggest one.
You need to be some form of strong-willed caretaker.
Yeah. Definitely.
Because there's caretakers who, of many different kinds, like shout out to all of our healthcare workers. But then there's the opposite.
Yeah.
Like if you're strong-willed without the care, like,
yes,
then you could be running people into the ground. Like I think about CrossFit trainers who like are very strong-willed and like aren't sensitive to their athletes, right? There's both sides, right? So there's the patience, but there's that intimate duality of being
that sensitivity,
a caretaker and strong-willed because of like how determined this Pokemon is to the point of its own detriment.
Yes.
Like you have to be patient but also understanding of that and like a guiding mentor.
Yeah.
What do you think this trainer should be?
I definitely feel the same way. Like I feel the same way about you have to be patient because this Pokemon is going to be difficult. There's no way around it. It's hard-headed. It's stubborn. It's literally hard-headed, you know? Yeah, you gotta be patient. It looks like George Washington at first. So, you gotta deal with running a whole country, the inception of a country. You have to be very patient. You have to be very patient. And I like what you said about the duality of just like, you have to be, or like, there's almost a prerequisite to being strong-willed, but you have to have a sensitivity as well. Because even just by itself, it'll run itself into the ground. It'll jump off cliffs into the...
And literally run itself into the ground, yeah.
And you, as a trainer, you have to take care of them. You know what I mean? Yes, of course, you can work as hard as you want, and you want to make sure that you're there for that too. But you gotta take care of them. You gotta make sure they're okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be injured a lot. You got to run into the Pokemon Center a lot. You probably even got to, like, it's at, like, 3 HP, and it's going to run up that hill again, the cliff, and
as
jump
if it
off,
had full HP.
And you're going to have to catch it, and you're going to have to deal with, like, that crushing wig into your chest. You know what I mean?
You got to be strong enough to
take it to, and
to tell your Bagon, no, we're taking a break.
Yeah.
You've done great work today.
Yeah.
We could start again tomorrow. But you know what? Let's get something to eat. Let's patch you up. Let's go to bed. I don't know. Let's go. I don't know what a Bagon would like to do. Maybe he likes to watch TV shows or something.
What's it, like Dragon Tales?
Oh, maybe listen to...
I wish. Literally. I wish with all my heart.
The flower in the land of art. I was gonna say watch like bird videos, but that's so much better.
Oh yeah,
that's so much better.
Yeah.
Literally just watch reruns, Dragon Tales.
Yeah.
The whole time.
Yeah.
So you gotta be patient for that.
Take some notes because you're gonna learn how to fly too. I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, it's all you.
Yeah.
Especially when the Bagon evolves into a Shelgon, this is probably going to be the most difficult part of raising one. This one is, encased in itself and reclusive.
Yeah.
So, again, the patience needs to be at an all-time high here.
It's going to test your, patience and will for sure.
But especially the patience and sensitivity, right? You have to get through the shell. You're the one that needs to be able to see the colors that it's only showing for itself.
It may not even be showing it to you. It's probably going to turn its back on you. It's probably going to run away from you. And you have to give it that space to do so because it will probably remember, obviously, all the times that you picked it up, brought it to the Pokemon Center, caught it when it was falling, all of that stuff. But it's because it's literally the nature of a Shelgon, it's going to run away. Yeah. It's going to want to be on its own. And you have to let it. You have to give it that space. Of course, check in, but let them do their thing because when they evolve, they might be sitting at your feet when they evolve, and that's really awesome.
Yeah, and especially when your Shelgon becomes a Salamence, that if all the steps that you've taken are in the right ways. I don't want to say there's a right way of raising it. There's definitely wrong ways of raising a Bagon. But when you have a Salamence, and for example, able to sleep at your feet, then I think you know that you've done a great job. You've done a job well done. And, now y'all can fly. Y'all can fly.
Y'all can achieve your dreams together.
Fly together. Yeah, and it's the achievement of those dreams and doing it together that makes it so much more fulfilling.
Yeah, it's the fruition of your dreams. It's like all of your hard work finally paying off. And what the cool part about that too is now that you've achieved the dream, like it literally opens your world up to do more. Like there's so many people who are like, I beat the game now and I have like all the Pokemon, I have my shiny charm, like what do I do now? And some people like the game has just started. Like I can now like do what I want to do.
Yeah, and you can truly explore, and now that you've both reached a point where there's like, there's such a better level of mutual understanding and a strong mutual bond, the sky's the limit. Yeah, you like that?
Yeah. Are we ready to HM02 now?
Yeah. Okay, all right,
just fly. Oh. I don't have the editing skills to make
me neither. No, me neither. I will say, on a more, I guess, like logistic level, my personal opinion, you may want to have this as your only Pokemon, or maybe like one or two other ones. But what do you think? Because this requires a lot of care and attention. Yeah,
that's fair. I mean, I guess I don't really give this much thought
for sure.
Because when you build teams, right, you're just thinking about the balance, whatever.
For sure, yeah.
But in a world
in this
where,
world, live in.
Yeah, I mean, if this is, I honestly would say that this should not be your first Pokemon.
Oh, no.
This is like, you've gone through multiple cycles of training multiple Pokemon, multiple teams, multiple types even, for you to understand the compassion and the trust, right, that is needed.
Yeah.
And Bagon still then would be a challenge at that point. Like, it's still something that only experienced trainers should take off. Like, it's not a starter Pokemon for a reason.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Definitely.
I feel like I veered from your question. What was your original question?
Well, I was thinking, I think it's a great way of putting it.
Yeah.
Just like wondering, I wouldn't have this. I wouldn't have this as my
is it
first
the only
one?
Pokemon that you should have? Probably.
Yeah.
Probably. I mean, knowing that you've trained other Pokemon, they can probably be mentors to this Bagon.
Yeah.
But if it is, like, if you are earlier on your Pokemon journey in your career and you want to take on training a Bagon, probably put the focus on just Bagon. Because I imagine, not only is it going to be reckless and running around, it's giving jealous energy.
Yeah. And it's like, well, why are we focusing, like, for example, if you had like a water type Pokemon that you were raising alongside, you're like, why are we swimming in the pool?
Yeah, I want to fly. Like,
where's the cliff?
Right.
Take me to the nearest cliff.
Yeah.
And that could also be hurtful to, your water
other
type
Pokemon, yeah.
So it's just something you got to be considerate of. Because this, if you don't have the experience for it, I mean, you could be the, Pokemon master of the world. And this could still be very difficult. But you could probably still do it if you could, raise multiple Pokemon. But
you could, but again, at what cost, right? Like,
yeah, exactly.
The only way I would say you should is if you had the experience already. If you understand what it's like to also run yourself pretty dry and into the ground, because it's probably going to take the same amount of care for like 2 or 3 other Pokemon as it does Bagon. So if they're already like further along in their journey and you bring on a Bagon to again have those mentors, then maybe, because it takes a village, right?
Yes.
I could see that. But if you're just starting off your journey, if you just got your Mudkip in the Hoenn region, and then you got a Zigzagoon and a Poochyena and a Wurmple, right?
Yeah.
And then you just so happen to stumble upon a Bagon, maybe leave it.
Yeah.
Maybe leave it. You have a lot on your plate already.
Yeah.
Like, unless you're willing to like let go of the Poochyena, the Zigzagoon, and the Wurmple, whatever I said, right? Like, Mudkip might be easy enough for you to do both.
Yes,
there's still
and
that,
might be understanding enough too.
Right, because he's also an amphibian, like water, but it's still water, sky. There's a disparity there. But because Mudkip, I feel maybe we're jumping too far ahead, but like I feel like Mudkip would be easygoing.
Yeah.
Bagon would be all of your attention. All of that to say, just don't bite off more than you can chew.
Yeah, definitely. Like you definitely got to know your limits.
Yeah.
Cool. How do we?
I don't know. This is the first time we're doing this.
What
are loving audience, the one viewer, hello, what, like, sound off in the comments below, whatever YouTubers say, podcasters say.
Let us know. Let us know.
Would you push kids, Dad? Were you someone to push kids on the playground?
Do you think that the vibe that we checked for Bagon through Salamence, do you think that we're correct in our assessment of the vibes?
Or are we completely off base? Like, do you have an opinion? You probably have an opinion.
Yeah.
Not that, I didn't mean like that. Please share your opinions with us in the comment section, whether positive or negative, because that's engagement.
Yeah. Yo, what do you think about Bagon? Do you think we just like have Bagon clocked entirely wrong? Do you think Bagon's easy? I don't know.
Oh, yeah, true.
Sure.
So one of the cool things about Pokemon is that it is an ongoing conversation. Yeah. Which is why we started this podcast.
There's so many different types of trainers in the world anyways. Yeah. So, if you feel like, oh, well, I did this and did that, like, sure, share your story. We want to know. We're always willing to learn.
Because you know why? Because we're just two dudes. Being guys.
Being guys. See you in the next one.
Catch you later.
Yeah.
No, that's crazy. Okay, well, that's it. Bye.